and the Midwest, which meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how.
North Carolina in 1926. But first, I'd like to give a big thank you to the People's Perspective on Instagram for giving me the inspiration for this story. Now, the Safe Bus Company was started by 13 black men who used their life savings to create the Safe Bus Company. Now, again, it was created in 1926. Of course, you guys know that Jim Crow and segregation was at the height of what it was, right? And so, of course, the regularly owned city buses did not go to a lot of areas in black communities. And so the black men said, hey, let's start a bus company. Now, it is said that the Safe Bus Company eventually became the largest black-owned bus company in the world. Now, it had about 75 bus drivers, and it is said that in 1955, the company was valued at almost $1 million, which is a lot of money back then, right? Now, it is also said that they paid their bus drivers upwards of $2.50, which was more than school teachers made at the time. And so you get the gist that it was doing very well. Now, of course, you know that segregation was a big thing. And black riders, I should say, on buses had to go to the back of the bus on white-owned bus companies. Of course, you guys know the story of Rosa Parks. But the story really started with Claudette Colvin, who was a 15-year-old who refused to give up her seat to a white person first. But nevertheless, they gave the credit to that of Rosa Parks, and that kicked off the bus boycotts, if you will, in Montgomery, Alabama, even though this particular bus company was in Winston-Salem. But anyway, in the 1960s, y'all know that the civil rights movement was a big thing and segregation was, trying to end, and eventually it did. And so unfortunately, with the end of segregation, that also meant the end of the Safe Bus Company, because now black people could be amongst white people. They can be on the white buses and feel, hey, I belong here. But it's like, especially in North Carolina, where you had your own bus company, you didn't need to leave what you were doing to go be with white people. But unfortunately, that's kind of what undid the black community as well. The false ideas, what I call them, you can get mad if you want to, but I call it the false idea of civil rights, because as the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, how can you have civil rights and you don't have human rights? You got to be thought of as a human first, right? But nevertheless, in 1972, the Safe Bus Company ended up going out of business, and the Winston-Salem Transportation Company in North Carolina took over the assets, bought them and incorporated it into their bus company. And so that was the demise of the Safe Bus Company. But one of the daughters of the original 13 men who created the bus company said, well, the segregation helped build the Safe Company, and integration helped close it down, because again, black people wanted to be with white people, be amongst white people, and be validated by white people by riding white buses. And so to me, I think two things could be true at once. You could still ride the black buses, right? And in places where the Safe Bus Company didn't operate, yeah, okay, great. You can now ride on whatever part of the bus that you want. But unfortunately, that's kind of what happens, not just with the busing companies, but with a lot of black businesses in our community. It went belly up once we were able to be among them. And so that's another unfortunate part of history, where we as black people are always seeking the validation of people who don't want to validate us and will never validate us. And so also, as they say in the nation, accept your own and be yourself. See, if we were listening to the messenger back then, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that is, then I think the Safe Bus Company would have still been around. Like a lot of other black companies would still be around, because if you are accepting your own and being yourself, you're like, I don't care about riding with them folks. I want to ride with my folks. Plus, our stuff is way better anyway, right? But it's never too late to accept our own and be ourselves, which means, hey, I love me. I love black people. I want to be black. I want to be about blackness, about uplifting black people. As Marcus Garvey said, up you mighty nation, accomplish what you will, right? It's all blackity black, 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 black. So if we would start doing that, we could have another Safe Bus Company again, but we're going to have to unify in every way, shape, or form. Like those 13 black men did in 1926 with their money. They unified and built something meaningful. And let's do it again, black people. So y'all tell me what you think of that. And for more insightful commentary, please subscribe to this channel and my channel, The Demetra K Show, here on YouTube. Peace.